In episode 7, the Rainmaker takes a somewhat different path, mainly putting aside the main plot for what amounts to a side mission that neatly wraps up Rudy's continued engagement in Kelly's romantic life. Naturally, there are a few ways in which this relates to the main case, not the least of which is Rudy's egregiously immoral choice to hide her at his client's house, particularly after that house is the scene of a murder. Although Rudy is the story's official hero, I can somewhat understand Bruiser's stance. Despite his good intentions, it appears that he frequently makes disastrously poor choices, and the law doesn't operate that way. And you can see this specific disaster approaching for a long time. I knew Rudy would need to utilize the untraceable revolver that Prince gave him early in the program. At any rate, someone was. Everyone is equally vulnerable to Chekhov's pistol. Given the strange relationship Rudy currently has with Sarah, it's a little difficult to judge his relationship with Kelly. In this episode, we discover a little more about Sarah's past, mostly that her father is a terrible person who directly knows Leo Drummond and got her the job at Tinley Britt by requesting a favor. Since Sarah is obviously attempting to argue that she has earned opportunities that have actually been handed to her on a platter, I suppose that helps to explain why she is so willing to compromise her morals in order to advance her career. However, it is evident that the firm's blatant corruption is not going unnoticed. When she finds out that Rudy may face a prison sentence for killing Kelly's husband, she wants to give him a hug. She even quips sarcastically about how close he is to Kelly, as if she hadn't just slept with her coworker. She is somewhat correct though. Although a number of persons allude to the possible romantic undertones of Rudy and Kelly's connection, that plot point isn't resolved beyond Kelly requesting him to hold her overnight when he is released on bond. Although that isn't exactly a platonic request, it doesn't go any farther, and Kelly moves at the end of this episode, so it appears that a relationship is currently off the table. Some of the more powerful character work, particularly that involving Rudy and Dot, which is, to be honest, really strong, is being carried forward as we are now released from this subplot to concentrate on the main case. Seeing Bruiser and Dex stand up for Rudy is the primary benefit of the Rainmaker episode 7. Rudy is held responsible for Cliff's death as he attacks Kelly off-screen and shows himself in Dot's shower as if he were playing Psycho. After about 5 minutes and a trip to the crime scene, Bruiser realizes that Rudy is claiming responsibility for Kelly, who killed Cliff. Fortunately, Bruiser's father was prosecuted by Quinn, the same person who was attempting to prosecute Rudy. She uses their connection to get Rudy exonerated and all of the allegations against Kelly withdrawn. By the way, everything is related. The wiretap of her father and a man named Prince, who Leo also happens to hire at the conclusion of this episode to track down Melvin, Jackie, and the file she is hiding, which is currently in her ex's possession. Sarah was searching for it before, led to her father's conviction. It is quite unlikely that Melvin will be able to stay off the grid for very long because Jane Allen, who was previously fired by Noonan, made it obvious that she would not leave the situation alone and would pursue him. Who will discover him first, though? Even though there are only 3 episodes left to discover, I believe we can all make a reasonable estimate.